Hello students, let's take an example in which this man is moving at a speed of 4 meter per second, and to this moving man rain appears to fall vertically. Alright, this man is moving at 4 meter per second and you can say he is moving towards east. Okay, so this direction we are taking as east, and the rain appears to fall vertically. Now what happens is he starts running at a speed of 7 meter per second, and in this situation the rain appears to make an angle of 45 degree with vertical. To this man, rain appears to make an angle of 45 degree with the vertical. I am deliberately not showing whether it is 45 this way or this way. That can be determined. We will see it later. Now, with this information, we have to find the velocity of rain in ground frame. Alright. So, I am repeating what is the information given. Man initially moving at 4 meter per second finds the rain to be falling vertically. When he increases his speed to 7 meter per second, now the rain is making an angle of 45 degree with the vertical. We have to find the velocity of rain with respect to ground. You can pause the video and try it yourself. Okay, let us now attempt it. I will give you two methods of solving this problem. First, let's try to do it by making the vector diagrams. So, here the three vectors that are involved for the vector triangle of velocities, one is of course velocity of man or Vm vector, and that is towards east 4 meter per second in the first case. Okay. Second is this vertical vector here. This will be called what? This will be called velocity of rain with respect to man, Vrm vector. And what is the third word? Third vector? Third vector is our unknown vector, and that is velocity of rain vector, or the velocity of rain in ground frame. Now, we know from our basic result of relative velocity that Vrm vector is equal to Vr vector minus Vm vector. So, Vr vector becomes Vrm vector plus Vm vector. Okay. So, this unknown vector is basically the resultant of these two vectors here. So, accordingly, we can make the vector triangle. So, I am drawing it here. This is the Vrm vector. In the first situation, problem says that this is vertical, and I am adding Vm vector to it. This Vm vector is of course horizontal, and we also know its magnitude. In the first case it is 4 meter per second. So, the Vr vector should be this one according to the triangle law of vector addition. This is your Vr vector. Alright. So, I have drawn this triangle for the first case. Now, what information about Vr vector can you get from this vector triangle? You can see that the horizontal component of Vr vector is same as that of Vm vector, and that is your how much? 4 meters per second. Now, let me draw the vector triangle for this case. In this case, of course, the velocity of man has increased to 7 meter per second. I am writing this as Vm2 vector, velocity of man in second case, Vm2 vector. Now, of the three vectors, one is common in this and this triangle. In these two situations, one vector is common. Which one is it? Velocity of man, of course, has changed. So the out of the other two remaining, is VR vector same in this case? No way. Question says it is making an angle of 45 degree. It is the velocity of rain in ground frame that is same in the both cases, and that is also our unknown vector that we have to find. So I am drawing this VR vector as it is. Just like this case, I am drawing it here. Same VR vector. Let me draw it again. This VR vector in this case is the same one. These two are exactly same vector VR. So what should be VRM vector? VRM vector is, if it is added to this VM2 gives us VR vector. So this one is your VRM2 vector. You can check it again. See, the vector equation according to which we are drawing these triangles is here. It is there in front of us. So in the second case, again VRM2 plus VM2 will give us VR. The rain is same in both cases. It is the same rain. It is falling with same velocity in same direction. All right. Here the man has increased its velocity, and as a result, rain in this case, which was appearing to be vertical, here it is making an angle of 45 degrees according to the question. So the part that was not mentioned here, that whether this 45 degrees coming from the front, या उसकी शर्ट भीगे आगे से भीगेगी या उसकी शर्ट पीछे से भीग रही होगी, तो ये क्लियर है कि अगर वो तेज भागेगा तो सामने से भीगेगा. और ये एक प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस की भी बात है. अगर तुम बारिश में तेज भागो सामने की तरफ, बारिश में तेज भागो तो तुम्हारी शर्ट जो है वो तुम सामने की तरफ से भीगोगे, पीछे की तरफ से नहीं. ठीक है ना. तो इस केस में ये बहुत तेज भाग रहा है, तो नेचुरली ये सामने से भीगेगा, इसको रेन सामने की तरफ से आती हुई अपीयर होगी. तो ये प्रैक्टिकली जो है प्रैक्टिकली भी इट मेक्स सेंस. नाउ आवर एम इज टू फाइंड दिस वीआर वेक्टर. इस वीआर वेक्टर के बारे में एक चीज हम ऑलरेडी निकाल चुके हैं इस डायग्राम में कि ये वीआर वेक्टर का जो हॉरिजॉन्टल कंपोनेंट है वो पहले केस में वीएम के बराबर है, जो कि 4 मीटर पर सेकेंड था. 4 मीटर पर सेकेंड. ये का ये मैं यहां भी कॉपी कर सकता हूं. दिस इज 4 मीटर पर सेकेंड. Now this total VM2 according to the question is how much? 7 meter per second. So how much is the remaining length of this vector equivalent to? The remaining length of this vector is equivalent to 3 meter per second. And this triangle, you can see this angle is 45. It means the vertical component is also 3. You can apply this tan 45 here. If the vertical component I am writing as, let us say, Vy of rain. I am writing this as Vy of rain. So this Vy of rain, Vy of rain, 3 upon this Vy, 3 meters per second upon Vy of rain is tan 45. This gives me y component of rain as 3 meters per second. So now I know both components. Horizontal component of VR is 3 meters per second and horizontal is 4 meters per second towards east and vertical is 3 meters per second downwards. Alright, so this was method 1 of solving this problem. Now let's discuss the second method. In the second method, what I will do is I will assume this unknown vector in terms of components. So I am assuming this VR vector to be, let us say, A I cap plus B j cap. A and B are the unknown horizontal and vertical components which we have to find. Now I can write this 4 meter per second. By the way, I am taking x-axis along horizontal and y-axis I am taking downwards, because rain we know will be falling downwards. So if I take y-axis to be downwards, I can expect a positive value for B. Okay. So if I find VRM in the first case according to this result here, okay, I am applying this result here in the first case. So I can write VRM in the first case as VR minus VM. How much is VR? VR is AI cap plus B J cap. And how much is VM? VM is 4 I cap. So minus VM, so minus 4 I cap. Now it becomes A minus 4 I cap plus B J cap. Now what information do I have about this vector? I know its direction. Question says that in first case the rain is falling, rain appears to fall vertically to this person. So VRM vector in first case is vertical. Vertical means its x component should be 0. So x component 0 means A minus 4 equal to 0. It tells us A is equal to 4 meters per second. So we have got horizontal component of velocity of this person as 4 meter per second. So the VR vector becomes, let me push it slightly up now. So VRM vector, now I can write this as VR vector, I can now write it as 4 I cap. See, I have got the value of A as 4, so I will write it as 4 I cap plus BJ cap. Now B we have to find using the second case. Alright, now I will apply same equation. Which one? This one. I will apply same equation for case 2. So for case 2, VRM2 in this case. Okay, VRM2 I will write as VR minus VM, out of which VR I know, VR is 4 I cap plus BJ cap minus how much is VM2? VM2 was 7 I cap. Okay, so let's simplify this. This easily becomes minus 3 I cap and plus B J cap. So this is velocity of rain with respect to man in second case. We have some information about this vector also. Problem says that this vector is making an angle of 45 degree with the vertical. That means that this component and this component of velocity, they must have same magnitude. So, and I already know that B is positive because I have taken B as vertically downwards. So clearly I can say that tan 45 degree is equal to mod of B upon minus 3. It gives me B equal to 1. Alright. So this is how B equal to 3. So this is how I can get both the components of velocity of rain. First method we used diagram. That was the basic method. You have to know that to clearly visualize the situation in terms of velocities. The second method is in terms of components. Again, an approach which is very useful in certain cases, particularly if the situation becomes 3D, then making diagram can become very difficult, and you will have to use the method of components if the problem happens to be a 3-dimensional problem. Now that we have got both the components of velocity of rain, I had taken the x-axis horizontal, y-axis vertically downwards. The horizontal component is 4, vertical is 3. So the VR vector is like this, this component being 4 and this one is 3. If you want to write it in terms of magnitude and directions, you can easily see that the magnitude of vector will be root of 3 square plus 4 square, which is of course 5, and this angle tan inverse of 3 by 4, that also we know will be 37 degrees. All right. Now sometimes they also ask this in terms of at what angle he should hold his umbrella to protect himself in the best way from the rain. So the angle of umbrella, suppose he is not moving at all, he is just standing. So if he is standing, then the velocity of the rain that will appear to him will be the actual velocity, because he is not moving, he is not moving in the ground frame. So velocity of rain in ground frame is also the velocity that will appear to him. So in that case, rain is coming in this direction, so he should hold his umbrella exactly opposite to this. He should hold his umbrella something like this. Okay, if the person is standing like this, so that will be the best way to prevent is to hold your umbrella. The pole of the umbrella should be aligned to the direction of rain, and the fabric of the umbrella, that should be kept as far as possible perpendicular to the rain. That will prevent him in the best way from the rain. Let's move forward, take another example. Let's take this example. Here car, this is by the way two crossroads. This one is going from west to east, this one you can say south to north. These are two highways. Here a car is exactly at the crossroads. It is moving at 60 km/h towards east, and this is the truck moving towards north with a speed of 25 km/h. The separation between them is shown to be 1.3 kilometers. We have to find the minimum separation between these two vehicles. It is given that both the vehicles, they are moving at constant velocity. So car just continues to move with the same velocity towards east, truck continues to move with the velocity of 25 km/h towards north. Constant velocities, we have to find their minimum separation. Initial separation is 1.3 kilometers. Now how to solve such problems? See, this problem is appearing to be slightly complicated to us because both the vehicles are moving. Let me take a different situation here. Suppose this is a highway and we have a tree here. This is the top view of a tree, and a vehicle is going like this. The distance of tree from the highway is 100 meters, and the vehicle is going like this with whatever velocity it is going straight. We have to find minimum separation between this tree and the vehicle. What about this question? It's very easy, isn't it? Because only one thing is moving, the vehicle is moving like this. Clearly the minimum distance is the perpendicular distance, and the answer is 100 meters. So simple. Now this problem in which these two vehicles were moving, with the knowledge of relative motion, it is possible to convert this problem into this problem. It will become so easy, and then you can solve it very comfortably. What to do? How this magic will happen? Simple. You just have to view the problem with respect to one of the vehicles. हम दोनों में से किसी एक व्हीकल में जाके बैठ जाते हैं, उसके फ्रेम ऑफ रेफरेंस में आ जाते हैं और फिर प्रॉब्लम को सोच के देखते हैं. किस में बैठा जाए? ट्रक में बैठते हैं. चलो, तो सेम सिचुएशन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ट्रक. नाउ इन दिस फ्रेम, let me write it here. I am solving relative to the truck T. So in this frame of reference, the truck has zero velocity. Velocity of truck with respect to itself has to be 0. Okay, what will be the velocity of car with respect to truck? So velocity of car with respect to truck we know is Vc vector minus Vt vector. Car was here, Vc vector we know is this one, 60 kilometers per hour, and minus Vt vector we have to do, Vc minus Vt. So this is Vc vector minus Vt vector will be like this. See, the truck is moving in this direction. So minus Vt vector is this one, negative Vt vector. So this one will be the required Vct vector, Vct vector. So as seen by the truck, if we are sitting in the truck, the car will appear to move in this direction. It will be moving something like this. Alright, truck, mind you, is not moving. We are discussing relative to the truck. So the truck itself is not moving, only car is moving with constant velocity in this direction. Velocity of car in this frame is also constant because Vc and Vt are both constants. So obviously Vct is also constant. So what is the required minimum distance? We just have to drop a perpendicular here. We just have to drop this perpendicular here. This perpendicular distance is the minimum distance required L. L is what we have to find. Okay. Now, in this right angle triangle, we already know this side, it is 1.3 kilometers. Alright. So, in order to get this one, we need one angle also. Okay. Now, in this triangle of velocities, this is also a right angle triangle. We know this angle. We can, or rather we can find this angle very easily. If this angle is theta, I can say that tan theta, this one was your minus Vt. Okay, this is minus Vt vector. So, tan theta will be equal to what? Vt magnitude divided by Vc magnitude. It is 25 by 60. So we know that tan theta is your 5 by 12. Alright. This angle is theta. So this remaining angle is 90 minus theta. Isn't it? This is pi by 2 minus theta in radians. This is 90. So this one again here is theta. Now you can very easily find the value of L. In this right angle triangle, you can see L is the base. So L is equal to 1.3 multiplied by cos theta. 1.3 multiplied by cos theta. Now if tan theta is 5 by 12, how much is cos theta? The value of cos theta you can easily get. Value of cos theta, it will be base upon hypotenuse in this triangle. So the base is 60. Hypotenuse you can calculate Vct. What is the magnitude of Vct? Magnitude of Vct will be, of course, square root of 60 squared plus 25 squared becomes, if you calculate, 65 kilometers per hour. The values are very nice. It is going to be 65 kilometers per hour. Okay. So, your cos theta you can write as Vc upon Vct in this triangle. Vc divided by Vct. So, 60 by 65, it is equal to 12 by 13. It is equal to 12 by 13. It's simple trigonometry anyway. If you know tan theta, you can find cos theta. That's simple trigonometry. So now putting this value of cos theta here, 12 by 13, you can see the value of L comes out to be 1.2 and it is in kilometers. Okay. So this is the minimum distance. After coming into the frame of reference of truck, problems becomes very simple to understand. because only one thing is moving. Minimum distance is simply the perpendicular distance. It's a very well known geometrical fact, and we have got its value. We also had to find the time required for this distance to be minimum. How to find that? Again, in this frame of reference, it's very easy. We know the velocity of car with respect to truck. We have found it here, 65 kilometers per hour. This is the velocity of car as seen by the truck. Okay, so if we know this distance from here to here, if we know this distance divided by VCT will give us the required time. So how much is that? That time will be, first of all, this distance we can get from Pythagoras. This distance is your square root of 1.3 squared minus 1.2 squared. So this will come out to be 0.5 kilometers. Okay, so 0.5 kilometers is the distance and the velocity is 65 kilometers per hour. So the required time is 0.5 kilometers divided by 65 kilometer per hour. It becomes how much? If I can cancel it with 5, so it is 0.1 upon 13, or you can say it is 1 upon 130 hours. Or in terms of minutes, it will become the same time. In terms of minutes, it will become 60 upon 130 minutes. All right, so this is how much? 6 by 13 part of a minute. That means slightly less than half a minute it will take the car to reach from here to here relative to the truck. Okay, so this is the time when the distance is minimum, and minimum distance is equal to 1.2 kilometers. Now again, I have taken the example of car and truck. You can have a situation and problem where two ships are moving in different directions and you have to find their minimum separations. If they are moving with constant velocity, you can easily convert this problem into this problem, and then by changing the frame of reference, and then it is very easy to solve. There is no problem, simple geometry, and you can solve it. Okay, here in this example we have two projectiles being launched from top of these two towers. Separation between the towers is given 10√3 meter. Height of the taller one is 10 meter more than the shorter tower. The velocity of this projectile is known. It is launched at 10√2 meters per second, making an angle 15 degree above horizontal. For the second projectile, magnitude is known, magnitude of velocity is known, it is 20 meter per second, but the angle is not known. We have to find the value of theta such that the two projectiles, after being launched simultaneously, they collide in mid-air. Okay, the two projectiles, they are launched at the same moment of time, they are launched simultaneously and they collide with each other. So what should be the value of angle theta, and after what time they collide with each other? So we have to find these two things, at what time they collide with each other. This is another part that we have to solve this for. Now this may seem to be a tricky problem, somewhat. You may feel that it is quite lengthy, one projectile, the other projectiles, like that. But remember, relative motion had made our earlier problem very easy. Can relative motion help us in this question? The answer is yes, very much. Relative motion can make this problem also very easy. What we will do before actually coming to this problem, let's again think like this. If I take one of the projectiles as my frame of reference, how will I see the motion of other projectile in it? Okay, we know that motion of projectile is accelerated. What is the acceleration of projectile? It is g vertically downwards. And it is g vertically downwards not just for this one, for this also. For any projectile, the acceleration is g downwards. Now, if I am taking the motion of one projectile with respect to another, let me give them some name. Let's call this A and let's call this B. Okay, so I know that acceleration of B with respect to A is equal to acceleration of B minus acceleration of A. All right. So, what will be the value of ABA? Acceleration of B with respect to A. These two accelerations are equal. They are both g downwards. So, if I write them as g times minus j cap minus again g times minus j cap, you are getting 0 as the relative acceleration. So this is very interesting, and this is the fact which makes this problem easy now. Knowing the fact that acceleration of one projectile with respect to another is 0. Alright, now if relative acceleration is 0, what can we say about relative velocity? If relative acceleration is 0, relative velocity is constant. We know that if acceleration is 0, zero acceleration implies what? It implies that velocity is constant. So relative velocity, velocity of B with respect to A is constant. Now if velocity is constant, what will be the trajectory? If a particle is moving with constant velocity, the only possible trajectory is straight line, isn't it? Because if it changes the direction of motion, if it doesn't move in a straight line, if it changes its direction of motion, obviously the velocity has changed because the direction of velocity has changed. Even if it maintains its speed and it moves in a curvilinear path, the direction has changed. So it is having some acceleration. But that is not allowed. We already know that the acceleration of one projectile with respect to another is 0. So it can be concluded that the trajectory of one projectile as seen by another is nothing but straight line. Alright. So this problem also reduces to the same one that that we had done earlier in case of the bus and truck. Okay, so obviously if I come in the frame of reference of A, its initial velocity will also be 0. Alright, so we just have to find velocity of B with respect to A. And I want the two particles to collide. What does that mean? That means that the minimum separation is 0 because they are hitting each other. So at the time of impact, they are at the same position. Minimum separation becomes 0. Alright. So now if I am in the frame of reference of A, okay, first thing, velocity of the path of B is straight line path. Don't think of them anymore as projectiles. If you are in the frame of reference of A, B is just moving straight and A is not moving at all. If I am thinking in terms of A, obviously A is not moving, it is only B which is moving. And how it is moving? It is moving in a straight line path that we have seen because the acceleration is 0, only path possible is straight line. Now we want B to collide with A. So how is it possible? Let me draw this again here, that if A is here, B is here, alright, A is not moving. I am thinking now relative to A. I am thinking relative to A. So A is not moving and the motion of B is a straight line. So if B is to, A and B have to collide and A is not moving, it means what? Velocity of B has to be directed towards A. velocity of B with respect to A, that is, not the in ground frame. Velocity of B with respect to A has to be directed like this. If it is directed like this and A is not moving, then it is going to hit. Okay, you may wonder what happened to gravity here. See, we have already done that. We are doing it relative to A, and acceleration of B relative to A is 0. Alright, so we have taken care of that. There is no acceleration if I am in the frame of reference of B of A. B doesn't have any acceleration. It will just go straight. Alright, and if A is not moving and B has to hit A, the only way is that its velocity has to be directed towards A. Alright, okay. After doing all this analysis, now it is very simple. What we have to do is that we have to ensure that this VBA vector has this particular direction. Alright, so what I do is I am taking a slightly different axis here. Okay, let me take my axis as along this line and perpendicular to this line. Alright, so I am taking my axis starting from from A, which I am taking as origin. I am taking the line joining A and B as the x-axis and the line normal to it as y-axis. I have taken this coordinate system. So in this coordinate system, what I want is that VBA, this should have 0 y component, and its x component should be in this direction, y component should be 0. That is sufficient to ensure that B will hit A. Okay, so let's write these velocities of A and B according to this coordinate system, where this one is the x-axis, this one is the y-axis. First, the angle made by this VA vector with this line, total angle. See, this angle, this one is 10 and this is 10 root 3. So clearly you can see this angle is 30 degree, isn't it? Tan inverse of 1 upon root 3. This is 30 degree. This angle is also 30 degree. So the angle made by A with our this new x-axis is 45 degree. So I can write VA vector as if this is 10 root 2 and this angle is 45, you know both x and y component are going to be 10. So it is 10 I cap plus 10 j cap meters per second. So that is the velocity of A. Velocity of B. Velocity of B I can write as 20 is the magnitude, 20 meter per second, and it is making angle theta with the negative x direction. So it is minus cos theta I cap, and y component is of course positive, plus sin theta j cap. So this is your VB vector. What we need here is the VBA vector. So velocity of B with respect to A we know is VB vector minus VA vector. So VB vector is 20 and minus cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap minus VA vector 10 I cap and plus 10 j cap. If I write x and y component separately, the x component is minus 10 and minus 20 cos theta. So minus 10 I can take common, 1 plus 2 cos theta I cap. And about the y component, it is plus 20 sin theta minus 10. So again, if I take 10 common, it is 2 sin theta minus 1, because this is minus 10. So this much j cap. Alright, I want velocity of B to have only x component. It should not have any y component, isn't it? So I will put the y component to be 0, which means 2 sin theta minus 1 is equal to 0. So okay, this V AB, y component of VAB, we want to be 0. So that means 2 sine theta minus 1 equal to 0, giving us sine theta equal to half, or theta is your 30 degree. Angle theta is 30 degree. All right. So that is one part of the problem done. Now about the second part, how to find the time when they will collide. All right. So we can get the time again by using this frame of reference. How much is the distance to be traveled? What is the distance separation between A and B? See, if this side is 10, this is 10 root 3, we can easily get from Pythagoras theorem that the initial separation between A and B was 20 meters. So the distance to be traveled by B relative to A is 20 meters. And what is the relative velocity? See, y component we have already ensured 0 and x component is here. Okay. So let me first write the x component of relative velocity. VBA x. So this will be, it is negative. In fact, it should be negative. Why? Because we want B to move towards A, isn't it? If B moves away from A, if B has a positive relative velocity with respect to x, it is not going to hit. All right. So in order to hit A, it should have a negative x component, isn't it? Only then it is moving towards A. So this is good sign that it is having a negative relative velocity x component. So minus 10, 1 plus 2 cos theta. Now cos 30 is, we know, root 3 by 2. Okay. So that is your x component. 2 is getting cancelled. So required time is going to be how much? The separation, which was how much? Which was 20 meters divided by the velocity of B, the component of velocity of B directed towards A. So that will be your 10 times 1 plus root 3. All right. So or if you are writing, if you are taking care of signs also, we should see that the displacement is in fact negative. It is in negative x direction, and VBA x, that is also negative. All right. So this is of course in meters per second. So you can write the value of T as a minus also goes. So it is 2 upon 1 plus root 3 this many seconds. So the collision will take place at this time, and the condition for collision is that the value of theta, as in this diagram, that one should be 30 degree. So see, you may think that okay, we have thought so much for this problem, but look at the advantage that the thought process that we have applied here. The problem originally was the problem of two projectiles. They both have some curvilinear path. It is possible to solve the problem without the concept of relative motion also. You can write their equations of, you can write their x and y coordinates as a function of time, but then their starting points are different. So it will not be easy to write their x and y coordinates. But anyway, it is possible, not easy, but it is possible to write their x and y coordinates and then to put x coordinates equal and y coordinates equal at the time of collision. But I tell you, it is going to be very, very lengthy. All right. So we have analyzed, we have thought hard for developing this method, and the key information that we have got is this one, that the relative acceleration of two projectiles is 0, and the advantage of this being 0 is that the path of one projectile as seen by another is a straight line path. Okay, it's a straight line path. So that and straight line path with a constant velocity also. So that makes this seemingly complicated situation to be much easier. Here, if you do it from the ground frame, mind you, the path of this projectile may be something like this, path of this projectile may be something like this, and they are colliding somewhere there. So it's quite tedious, all right. But this one is much simpler. Only thing is that you have to apply thought in terms of relative motion. You have to think from the point of view of one observer, which itself is accelerated in this case like a projectile, all right. But the fruits of this hard thinking that we have done are wonderful. The problem, this difficult problem, reduces to this reasonably simple problem. That is the power of relative motion. New example here. This is a flat car or a railroad car. It is moving horizontally at a constant velocity of 5 meters per second. Person A here has a ball in his hand, and what he does is he throws the ball straight up. And it is known that he catches the ball back in his hands at t equal to 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, the ball lands in his hands. The person is not moving relative to this cart. He is just standing on this moving cart. All right. He throws the ball and the ball lands in his hand at t equal to 2 seconds. All right. Now, what we have to analyze here, what will be the path of this ball as seen by this ground observer here. This person is not moving with respect to ground. The railroad car was moving at 5 meters per second. So, what path of this particle will be observed by this person O here? That is one thing. And that's what we have to analyze. What will be the and also what will be the maximum height up to which this particle will go, and where will he catch the ball as seen by this particle. So basically three things. One, what will be the path of this ball as seen by this person on the ground, number one. Secondly, maximum height. Thirdly, where will the person A will catch the ball as seen by observer O. These three things we have to do. Okay. Now, from the previous example, we have seen that when we are discussing relative motion in 2 dimension, the trajectory of a particle is changed. Trajectory of a particle can change, that is. In the previous case, when we were discussing the relative motion of 2 projectiles, the projectiles in ground frame we know have parabolic path, but as seen by one projectile, the motion of other one was a straight line. Now, in this situation, what will be the path of this ball as seen by this person A and the observer on ground here? See, if we think from the point of view of this person, he threw the ball straight up, he is not moving, and of course with respect to himself he cannot move anyway. Ball lands in his hands. What does it imply? It implies that the motion of ball must be a straight line, up and down, back in his hands. All right. Now, with what velocity must he have thrown the ball so that it lands after 2 seconds? You can use second equation of motion. We know that the ball has an acceleration g equal to 10 meters per second square downwards. So, if you use second equation of motion, s is equal to ut plus half at square, the value of s when it comes back to his hands is 0. Initial velocity we have to find, value of time is 2 plus half, acceleration is minus 10 and 2 squared. So this gives us This is cancelled. This gives us u equal to 10 meter per second. So this person A has thrown he must have thrown the ball upwards with a velocity of 10 meter per second. The ball goes straight up as seen by him and it lands in his hand back after 2 seconds if he throws it with this velocity. Alright, but what about this observer? What will be the path of this ball as seen by this observer? Now for this observer, the ball also has a horizontal component of velocity, and that is how much? Equal to the velocity of railroad car. If you want to write it in terms of the relative velocity vectors, you can say that VBA vector. Now which one was the BA vector? This one, this u that we have got, this was the VBA vector. The person must have thrown the velocity relative to himself vertically upwards. That was VBA vector. This one is, of course, VA vector is 5 meters in the x direction. So if I take this is my x direction, vertically upward is y, usual xy coordinate system for projectile. So VBA vector is your VB vector minus VA vector. Alright, so this gives us VB vector. VB vector means what? It is the velocity of ball relative to ground. So VB vector becomes VBA vector plus VA vector. Okay, VA vector was this one and it has a magnitude of 5 meter per second. So VB vector has both components, vertical as well as horizontal. That means as seen by this observer, the velocity of ball is something like this. Okay, it is inclined, it is neither horizontal nor vertical, it has both components. So I can write this as VBA will be how much? We have got the magnitude here. U is the magnitude of VBA vector. So that is your 10 I cap, and VA vector here is your, this was 10 J cap, Y direction, and this is 5 I cap. So this many meters per second. So that is the velocity of, initial velocity, I must say, initial velocity of the ball as seen by this observer. So what will be the path of this ball as seen by this person? Obviously, it is going to be a projectile, that means a parabolic path. So as seen by the person on ground, the path of the ball is a parabola. As seen by the person himself who threw the ball vertically upwards, the path is a straight line. That is why it lands back in his hands. Okay, so what were the other paths? We had to find the maximum height attained by the particle. So from its initial position of launch, the maximum height we can find just by the projectile formula. We can use this vertical component 10 here. We know that maximum height of the projectile is Vy squared by 2g. So it is 10 squared by 2 into 10, which means it is your 5 meters. So the maximum height attained by the projectile is 5 meter. And how far from the initial position as seen by this observer the ball is caught, that is simply the range of this projectile. So the range of projectile formula is twice Vx Vy by g. Vx is 5, Vy is 10. So 2 times 5 into 10 divided by 10. This is cancelled. So it is 10 meters. The ball is caught back here at a distance of 10 meters. All right. So this is the situation. The path changes if you change the frame of reference in a two-dimensional case. It can change. Now, even if you are not convinced, the only way that now I can demonstrate you is by real experiment. Okay. What I am going to do is I will walk in this direction and will throw this pen straight up. Okay. And I will throw it straight up so that it lands back in my hand, and you see what is the trajectory in your frame of reference. Okay. So be prepared. what path did you see? It must have been a parabola, and to me the path was straight up. By the way, if you try this experiment at home, just be careful about two things. One is, take something which is not very expensive. Secondly, throw the object straight up. And third thing, do not accelerate. Just keep moving with constant velocity. If you accelerate or retard during the flight of the object, the thing may not land in your hands. Okay, so all the best.